Do you know the Sword Museum in Tokyo? There, swords from the Kamakura and Muromachi periods 900 years ago are still in cutting condition. How were these oapites of the Kamakura period, which can no longer be reproduced today, made? The difference between swords, history. Japanese swords are classified according to the period of sword making. Koto, from the birth of the Japanese sword to the Sengoku period. Shinto, from the unification of the country to the middle of the Edo period. Shinshinto, late Edo period. Gendaito, Meiji period and later. Let's take a look at the unique characteristics of each. Koto, many of the swords that have been selected as national cultural properties are classified as Koto. However, even though they are called Koto, they are swords that were made over a period of 800 years from the late Heian period to the Azuchi Momoyama period. So they vary depending on the period and there are various types. By producing beautiful swords with distinctive features in each era and region, the foundation of Japanese swords as works of art was established. The characteristic of Koto is that they have a tough blade, and the damage is not so much that the blade breaks, but rather that the blade curls back. Shinto, the beginning of the new party was in the first year of Keicho, 1596, when the Gekikuju, lower class overthrowing the upper class, of the Sengoku period had spread widely and ability was emphasized in art and culture. Gekikuju? Yes, it is a Japanese culture where people with low social status surpass people with high social status by their ability. This idea of meritocracy was also present in swordsmiths. There are famous people who learned how to make swords by themselves and became popular. For example, Horikawa Kunihiro, Hizen Tadayoshi, etc. The production method of Koto was to repeat the process of hammering - stretching - folding the metal, which is called folding forging. However, this production method makes the steel hard and it breaks under load during combat. A broken sword means death for a warlord. Therefore, when it came to Shinto, they invented a technique called Zukuri Komi, which is said to make the middle part of the sword with soft iron and wrap the outside with hard steel. The swords made by this method are hard on the edge but soft on the core, so they are flexible and hard to break. Shinshinto, the swords of the new sword period were made to order by lords and warlords, or mixed various sword-making methods. At this time in Japan, there was Perry's arrival and the Sano-Joy movement, so many Shinshinto had beautiful carvings to symbolize Japan to the world. Gendaito, the Meiji emperor liked swords and the culture of Japanese swords was maintained. Furthermore, after the Showa era, the demand for military swords increased and Japanese swords attracted attention again. However, after the end of the war, Japanese swords were regarded as weapons and the production and possession of them were prohibited and confiscated. Later, Japanese swords were recognized as works of art and even changed the law. As a result, it is now possible to own and buy and sell Japanese swords privately. A sword from the Kamakura period that is called a upart. Japanese swords are still loved by many people as their technology is inherited. The swords of the Kamakura period, which are called uparts, the swords of the Kamakura period are said to be the best swords of the Japanese sword. The Kamakura period was a time when the sword-making technology improved and the blade length could be made longer than ever before, and the weight increased. The armor that protected the body from the sword also evolved, but the Japanese sword easily cut through them. However, there are no books left about the swords of this period. Therefore, it is not known what kind of iron was used to make the swords. Also, the sword-making method is not known and there are many things that are not known about the Koto at the present time. Therefore, it is impossible to reproduce the best swords with modern technology. Researchers are trying to reproduce them, but it seems to take a lot of time. Let me introduce one of them. Okanahira. Okanahira is a Japanese sword, tachi, that was made in the late Heian period. It is designated as a national treasure of Japan and is owned by the Tokyo National Museum in Taito, Tokyo. The official name of the national treasure is Tachi with the inscription Bison no Kuni Kanahira Saku, famous Okanahira. O Kanehira is one of the finest swords in the world because of its thinness and strength of the blade and the balance of the center of gravity. It is difficult even in modern times to achieve such thinness, strength, and balance. I wonder how people in the Kamakura period made such wonderful things. That was an explanation of Japanese swords.